Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Law of 1Spiritual Advice podcast. My name is Elle, and I come again today to read some Law of 1 material to you and then share my reflections on it and my opinions and maybe I'm applying these lessons to my life currently. Okay, so today's podcast is going to be the topics will be mainly about faith, hope, if you would like to call it that, being foolish. The Fool is like a tarot card, is an archetype. And, that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so let's get into it. The quotes today will be from Ra, and it will be 2 quotes. They are totally in different sections, but sometimes I like to do that because, the understanding can be communicated, in many ways, right? We have talk about the Fool in one section, and then way later in the book they talk about the Fool again, and there's always just these little snippets. So I like to put them together, things that I find like that, share them with you. Here we go. So it starts with session 67.30. Ra states, quote, "One great aspect of this archetype, the Fool, is the aspect of faith, the walking into space without regard for what is to come next. This is, of course, foolish, but is part of the characteristic of the spiritual neophyte." And then also I'm going to add in session 42.12, quote, "There is but one technique for this growing or nurturing of will and faith, and that is the focusing of the attention. The attention span of those you call children is considered short. The spiritual attention span of most of your peoples is that of the child. Thus, it is a matter of wishing to become able to collect one's attention and hold it upon the desired programming. This, when continued, strengthens the will. The entire activity can only occur when there exists faith that an outcome of this discipline is possible." End of quote, Ra. So that's session 67.30 and session 42.12. Okay, and then obviously you can see why those two correlate with each other. They're both talking about being the fool. The first one is more specifically talking about faith, the first paragraph there, and then the second paragraph is more about the will and how faith interacts with will, and maybe there's very similar things, or at least they feed off of each other. So, okay, well, what I would like to point out first is the Fool. So the Fool has been coming up for me because I'm sort of in this seeming transformational state right now, and I also have a few synchronicities which I could share with you as well. We are in year 2022, and the 22nd tarot card, and which they also describe as archetypes in the Law of One, is the Fool. And the Fool, if you've probably seen it, maybe you're not fully aware of tarot cards, but it's really common, that one. It's basically this guy who is standing on top of a cliff, and he seems to be sort of singing or dancing, and he looks like a kind of foolish, like a clown. I think he's got a jester hat on maybe sometimes, and sometimes he's got a dog with him. But anyways, it just looks like he's stepping off of the cliff into midair, which obviously doesn't seem like a very wise thing to do, does it? But that is apparently the Fool archetype, which is somewhat related to the catalyst of spirit. And the catalyst of spirit is one which works with faith, right? It's this sort of big, dark infinity of unknowing, right? The Creator can't really be known. However, through our will, we push forward, and we have the faith to continue on, and to maybe believe that the will of the Creator is possibly larger than our understanding, and therefore we can just sort of relax a bit and have the faith that all is well. Ra says in other places, all will be reconciled. It's just a matter of time that really is the difference between what you could consider the absolving of karma or not, and things of that nature. So in the sense of timelessness, all is well. The Creator has this taken care of. We don't have to worry so much, except for the fact that we are part of the Creator. We are the Creator. Everybody is the Creator. And you have free will. So you do have to use that free will and point it in the direction of whatever you deem is appropriate. Now, I would suggest, if you're listening to this and you've been with me here for a while, is we talk about service to others, and you would be wanting to basically point your intention in the direction of service to others. Of course, you have the choice, service to self or service to others. I'll make that known. However, I'm going to be talking about service to others, obviously. Okay, so as you point the compass in the direction of service to others, there is a bit of a process where, as you grow and learn and things fall away. So I feel that when things are falling away in times of transformation, the will and the faith are very important. Like we're in the third density. This is a place of darkness, of unknowing. We are here to be confused, and really, I believe that maybe you can find comfort in the fact of knowing that when you are very confused, well, this is good, because this is sort of the whole reason that this density exists, is so that we can be confused and we can not know what's going on, and therefore we can only use our faculties of intuition and intellect and faith, and we can work out that muscle of faith, right? Otherwise, if you knew that everything was perfect and that the Creator's got your back, and no matter what happens, you're an infinite being, your faith, you wouldn't have any faith in a way, right? Like how would you have faith when the Creator's light is apparent at all times? So it would make sense that we came here to this third density. We've sort of separated ourselves from that seeming knowing, we've gone behind the veil of forgetting so that we can be here to be confused. And these are very confusing times that we're in. So just know that it's all is well. The illusion, the third density illusion, is doing its thing, its purpose, which is to present us with this confusing series of events so that we can basically be confused and only use our will and faith to make the decisions that we know to be right. And so how do you sort of tell your intellect how to have some faith? Well, this is what I would suggest you do is realize what I said earlier about, the Creator's got this. You can sort of have that foolish, that dumb faith that all is well and that the Creator is going to take care of you. And really the worst that can happen to you is sort of the death of your physical body, but you're an infinite soul and you are protected and all that beautiful stuff, right? So I'll add in here from session 95.24, Ra talks about this, where if you're sort of pointed in the direction of service to others, you're aware of the infinity of the Creator, and you have that faith, then all can be seen to be, just the Creator. There is nothing but the Creator out there. So how can you not trust that what's happening is for the best? So here we go, 95.24. Ra says, "To the pure, all that is encountered speaks of the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. The cruelest blow is seen with an ambience of challenges offered and opportunities to come. Thusly, the great pitch of light is held high above such an one, so that all interpretation may be seen to be protected by light." End of quote. Okay, so even though you may not completely feel that way, it says to the pure, right? I doubt that you are a pure being. I am not a pure being myself. But to the pure, all that happens, all the terrible, terrible things that happen in this world, they provide us with opportunities to serve, opportunities to come. What is it? The ambience of challenges, right? You get the challenge presented before you, so you get to work out that muscle of faith and working out that muscle in your heart, the unconditional love. It's super easy to love things with conditions, but as you seek to be a sort of spiritual being, you want to work with unconditional love, and that includes yourself, so be wise about it. However, there's a lot to work with when it comes to love and things that you do not accept, right? We sort of have to accept the unacceptable, because all is the Creator in some sort of distorted form. So you can't go out saying you hate things. You maybe hate the husk, you maybe hate the surface, the illusion of that thing, but at the surface of that thing is the Creator. And at the surface of your personality and all your imperfection is the Creator as well. So just recognizing that in all circumstances, having the faith to push on when things seem dark, you don't know what's going on, Maybe this is the best time of your life, even though it likely feels like the worst time of your life. You might look back on it later, and this was what pushed you forward to do whatever it is that you're doing now, or just to put you more in alignment with the truth, I suppose. And I guess, yeah, well, now onto my personal aspect of this, where I talk about how I am sort of in that position right now where I'm, left with a choice. I have a choice to make, and this choice is one where I get to either sort of do the safe thing, which goes against my intuition and my intellect, which is telling me not to do that. But it would be safe because, with the whole mandate thing, I could lose my job, which is scary because it's like, what are you going to do for a source of income? However, I just can't see myself making a choice that goes against what is in my heart and what I feel is just to be right for myself. So, knowing that, no matter what evidence is presented my way, I'm open to change, my perception. But as it stands now, I have made that choice, and so I'm sort of feel like I'm standing on the edge of that cliff. I feel like right now that image just keeps coming into my head where I'm trying to remind myself of this material, and I have to have trust and faith that if I follow my heart and do what's right, that this will lead somewhere good, or at least somewhere that, I don't know, is more in alignment with the truth. If that means I have to deal, or, I have to sort of, I seemingly have to accept living with less, then that is okay if that's what it takes, right? Maybe that's what pushes me then to the next great thing that is going to be my life, that my life is about. And I've reflected on this too. Since I graduated high school, I've spent like 13, 14 years just working a job. Like, I didn't necessarily go to school and do things of this nature. I had other things in mind that I wanted to do, which were not sort of in that realm of, in that scope of living. So um, I was like a dreamer, right? Following my dreams. So I follow my dreams, and that's a difficult thing. But then I kind of got comfortable in this job. Like it's good. It was good advice, or not even advice I got later. But if you're a creative person, sometimes it makes sense to. It's hard to monetize creativity. Like, you can't necessarily just live off of your creative efforts. You can, and some people are very, very successful with it. But 99% of people fail, and that is a true number. So it's okay to sort of just like accept a lower level of job, just so that I can have an income, so that then I can have more time and feel comfortable about doing my creative efforts, instead of having my creative efforts sort of be the burden, which then has to provide me with my sustenance, right? So if I am being honest with you, I am giving up that comfort thing, and I'm giving up that kind of safety of having my lower chakras be balanced and sort of solidly grounded in the ground, and I'm sort of taking a risk of removing those, but I'm hoping that that's not what happens, and I don't become imbalanced, and instead I push forward, and I have the will and faith to do whatever it takes to live this life that I need to live, which is in alignment with my choices of being free to choose as I choose to choose. Okay, so we're getting obviously way all over the place here, but you get my idea. I'm sort of got my eyes closed. I'm standing on the edge of the cliff. I'm walking off, and I believe at this point I basically am making this step. And I'm not going to comply. So there's just no possible way that's going down for me. And here we are. So you guys, I appreciate your support, and I hope that my sharing of these things, serves you well. when you're listening to this, just remember that faith is sort of a thing of intuition in a way, and so it is good to use your intellect to balance those things. A lot of spiritual people will just tell you to be all flighty and spiritual and only intuition, and I would never say that. I think balance is very important, and in fact, you can't use a lot of your intuition if you don't have groundedness and your intellect and the other main areas of your life. But the important part to remember and take from all of this is sort of the faith that the Creator's got this, all is well. The choices that we make, if they're wrong, we will have time to reconcile them. There is forgiveness for ourselves and for others, and we can extend that and move forward and learn from our mistakes and hope that the choices that we're making today are the correct choices for ourselves and for the sort of trajectory of our souls. So. Oh, and I forgot to explain the whole cliff thing, even where it goes from there. So, Quo says this in a different transcript, which I couldn't find, but I'll try to find it later and post it in another day. However, Quo talks about this walking off of the cliff. So, just if I can give you a visual, if I can leave you with a visual, it would be this. So, as you walk off the cliff, it seems as though there's nothing there and that you're going to fall to your death. And instead what happens is, if you have the faith, then you take that step, and just at the moment when you think that all is going to fall and it's not going to work, just at that last moment, if you hold that faith that there's a different and an infinite possibility of outcome, just at that moment, you'll find sure footing. There'll be something that comes underneath your foot and holds you in place and has got you. And then, then the next step maybe as well might be another step of faith, step after step. But each one that you do, you'll find sure footing again, and you'll know that, okay, yes, this is true, this is a real thing. The faith and the will that I have to push forward and to make things work is a real thing, and it can make miracles in a way. So thanks guys for listening. If you appreciate this information, then you can get it all for free. I have a bunch of links on my website, the1infinitecreator.com. I will direct you to LL Research material where you can download this for free. I have also started a new little shop on there, so if you'd like to show some support, you can always pick up a sweet Ankh shirt or a hoodie or whatever works for you. And I added actually a new design yesterday, which I'm pretty excited about, which is the circumference is nowhere and the center is everywhere. It's sort of a little riddle of unity. It's pretty in depth. I'm sure that you've already got it, but if you want to check that out, see if you like that design. And otherwise, I appreciate all your guys' support on Patreon. That is sort of like a huge abundance thing for me. Like, it really gives me that little bit of security that I need to move forward in this path with possibly like trying to have to find a new job and stuff. And so I really appreciate the people that are supporting me on Patreon. I know it's a monthly donation, and trust me, I do not take that for granted. I always want to send all of you guys an individual message, but I don't want to be weird about it. So I just know that from the depths of my heart, I extremely appreciate it. And yeah, I know I was kind of all scattered on this podcast, but sometimes those are the better podcasts. It's just a bit all over the place. So thanks, guys, for listening. I love you guys, and we will talk again on Friday.